Everyone, next up for Zoo Week, we're gonna make some garden snakes. So grab yourself a toilet paper roll. I'm gonna make my snake blue, so grab whatever color you'd like for your snake to be. And then I have some leftover yellow from my cheetah mask, so I'm gonna use that for some polka dots. I have some red for the tongue, and then I don't have googly eyes, but if you've got them, pull those out. I'm going to also show you how to make your own with a piece of white paper and a little bit of that leftover black paint as well. Okay, so we've got our colors all covered. Now you're also going to need glue stick like usual, a scissor, and a paintbrush. And we're actually going to use both sides of the paintbrush this time, the brush part and the end part. Okay, first step is a big one. We got to paint the entire outside and inside of the toilet paper roll. And like I said, the blue is going to be the main color of my snake. And this is going to need a while to dry. So I'm going to get started. All right, painting the inside of the tube was not as hard as I thought it was going to be, actually, because the paint dries pretty fast on this cardboard. So I did make a little mess on my hands, but nothing too crazy. All right, while that dries, I'm going to show you how I'm going to make my own googly eyes. And if you have your own googly eyes, awesome, use those. But if you don't, I'm going to show you how I'm going to make mine. Take my white piece of paper, and I'm going to draw 2 circles. Yes, they must be absolutely perfect circles. Kidding, of course. Now we're going to cut them out. My absolutely perfect little eyeballs. You can decide, do you want the lines showing that you drew when you traced it? Or do you want to use the blank side? I usually like to use the blank side. Now you're going to take the paintbrush and you're going to use the back of it. I'm going to dip into that black just a little bit, and we're going to use that to make our little eyes. Whoopsies, sometimes the paint's sticky. Okay, my tube is just dry enough, so I'm going to take that and my scissor, and I'm going to cut in a spiral down the tube, okay, so that we can get kind of a coiled effect, like a snake, right? Here we go. We're starting right here, and we're just making a slice, and we're just gonna rotate the toilet paper around in a circle. You want to go around diagonally. Just keep going. Take your time. Take your time. You can always test this out on a plain toilet paper roll so you can see how the coil will turn out before you paint it. Or just go for it, right? All the way to the end. Cool. Now, see how mine is still a little wet from the paint? That's why I've got this bigger cardboard tube, because I'm going to just wrap it around here as it continues to dry. That way it stays a spiral, right? Now that I have the snake wrapped around the bigger tube the way that I'd like, I want to make sure that the bottom of my paintbrush doesn't have any black on it, right? Remember we used it to make the eyes, because now we're going to use it to make the polka dots. And since I already had yellow in my palette, I'm just going to use that. And here we go. Dip it in and give yourself some polka dots. And we're just going to start with this one side, and then we'll let it dry, and then we'll rotate, all right? So take your time, just working on one side at a time. Because if I was to roll this over, what do you think would happen to that wet paint? No good, no good, all that hard work. Let it dry. All right, once it's dry, we're gonna rotate, rotate, rotate. Go ahead, place it down, and then fill in the rest of your dots. Okay, you can see that both of the ends are showing. This one's a little bigger and this one's smaller. So I've decided that this bigger one is where I'm going to make the face, right? So I'm going to use those googly eyes that I made. I'm going to glue them right here. And then the tip right here, I'm actually going to paint it red, just like the tongue. All right, so let's try it. All right. Taking that. And because I don't like to dirty more brushes than I need to, I'm just using the back of this one again. I wiped off the yellow and I dipped it in the red paint container. Okay, leave that to dry because we are gonna we are gonna cut it to look a little bit more like a tongue. Now, wipe off the paint, because guess what? I'm using the paintbrush again. This time for glue. This time, I'm actually going to use some liquid glue. And look, it's already coming out. I'm going to use this to just make 2 dots. 1 and 2. And that's where I'm going to add these big old googly eyes. 1 and 2. Now that the eyes are close together, you may want to go in and fix up the black paint just a little bit. Once you feel like your paint is fairly dry, we're just going to cut a little slit in the tongue. It's all about those details, right? Now he really looks like a snake. Then take him off the roll. You can have the snake sit like this, or they can be coiled up. I can't wait to see how you guys make your own snakes.